Welcome back to Impactology Live. We're really pleased to welcome a very special guest to Impactology Live today, Harry Korras. And Harry, it's lovely to have you with us in studio.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Great to have you here. A little bit about Harry. Harry is an entrepreneur who applies practicality with commerciality in the boardroom. Known for his street to boardroom approach to life, Harry has proven his success building his massive privately owned security company to be one of the best. Today, Harry is the founder of Life Worldwide, a boutique leadership and mentoring organisation. He works with several high-profile brands and executive teams and is committed to helping others prepare for their executive life in the boardroom and in other organisations. With his simple advice to all about being a good human, Harry is the leader that we all need to be entertained, informed and inspired by. Welcome, Harry.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you for the lovely introduction.
That's okay, Harry. Now, I must say, I love your Instagram posts, and every day you start with, I've just been for a run, and you basically give this little mantra, and they're key messages. Where did all that start from?
Well, it's interesting. The run is done. It's a famous. People scream it out. I get messages from people down the street, and it's become a mantra. It's just that it can be done. That's probably the mantra for the run being done. I did say that at the start of this unfortunate pandemic that I'm going to do a run every day, do a video every day, which I've kept up and done that. And, you know, the run is done is, again, just to let people know that it can be done. There's no way that it cannot be done. You find a way, you know, and be a great human. You hear all that in there because you need to be, you know. They're
simple messages, Harry, but I think that they're really important ones. And I know that I really love hearing that. So keep it going.
Fantastic.
Because it inspires me then. I might not do the run in the morning, but I try and get a little bit of exercise done during the day. Harry, tell us a little bit about your story. For those that don't know you so well, who is Harry Korras? Tell us a bit about your story.
Harry Korras, funny enough, I'm a very simple person. Greek migrant parents, grew up in Brunswick, the good old Brunswick, the Brunswick of then, not the now, a bit different. Mum and dad, as I said, come off a boat from Greece. We grew up in Brunswick, mum and dad. Mum never worked, dad worked at making beer at CUB. He was probably the only Greek drinking VB, which was very funny back then. He always said, drink a stubby, not a can. And, we grew up, unfortunately we grew up poor. We didn't know what it was we didn't know any different. So no car, which was, thank God, because dad drank a lot. So if he, drink driving, that would have been an issue. No home, we really never had a home. We rented everywhere. We thought it was normal. No home phone. None of that colour TVs, all that. So that was our upbringing, So that was our introduction. And then, I realised very quickly that you've got to make something, you've got to go out and do it yourself. You've got to go and have a go, And my story was in the early days, I just kept working. I thought, I've got to work. I went to school. Funny enough, George and I went to the same, fantastic university there, Brunswick High School back then. I was also at uni, but school wasn't for me. I didn't hate school, but it wasn't for me. I felt that I needed to go and achieve more. In order for me to do something, I just got to go out and that was money, really. Go out and buy that thing instead of, it was very easy to pick the camp you want to be in. There was the easy way, it was the hard way. So, the old saying, you do it hard now, you do it easy later, or do it easy now, you do it hard later. So my story was that I kept working through that. I worked different jobs as a young kid. And then, I landed into the security industry. And probably, it was probably the community we were around, the people we were around, and that's where I landed. That was my big break, and the industry gave me a lot. I gave it a lot, and that's the short version of my backstory. It's not a big story, but
So Harry, through that time, I guess growing up, and it's a very, it's a common story. I know for us, growing up, kid of migrant parents. Out of your siblings, are you the oldest or middle or youngest?
Middle.
Okay. Because that's always interesting to ask where people are at. But I think as kids of migrant parents, I don't want to say we struggle, but we do it a little bit tougher. I think we come here and through our parents, it's not our thing to prove, but we almost carry that as around having something to prove. I see that as a benefit and a positive because I think it gives us a really strong work ethic. What are the best lessons that you have taken from your childhood, kid of migrant parents, what are the best lessons that you've taken into your life?
Yeah, the lessons were, again, it's funny that we talk about keep moving forward, and that's what it was. I just needed to, be a good human being, respect, family values, no matter what, the family sticks together, and there's a flip side to that too, because mum and dad did, as I said, come from a poor background. I think Bill Gates said it best, if you're born poor, it's not your fault, but if you die poor, it is, right? and that middle class mentality, you know, where that also taught me that mum and dad didn't really understand that, and I had to learn that money is important, money's freedom. So I had to instill that into our understanding of, you know, growing up in that environment, because you were seen different if you thought that way. You know, everybody had to do a specific thing, or you go to school and working at a bank or being a lawyer or being that was, you know, and it taught me that, no, you don't have to do that. It taught me also the reverse of all that. That's not what you have to do. There's many other, you know. So that there were lessons. There was lessons everywhere. Everywhere you looked, there were lessons. You know, but there's also, I call them landmines. So you could also step a landmine that you do something that's completely opposite to what they want you to do, and it goes off. And then what happens? There's a family feud, and there's people that don't believe in you and how you want to see things and do things. So they were great lessons.
Yeah. And Harry, the keep moving forward mindset. Can you share with us the significance of that?
Yeah, George, for me, keep moving forward has been something that I've instilled through for many, many years, you know, and that's just a matter of no matter what, just keep going. Keep going. We can sit in misery, we can sit in pity. As I was saying earlier, I was talking to a guy this morning who's just telling me about something that happened, and I said, but that happened in 1940. Yeah, it probably happened in 1980 or something, but they keep bringing that up. He done this, she done that, he said this, I done that. And there's a famous thing I think us ethnics do it best, and that is, you don't talk to somebody for 30 years, but you go to their funeral. You know, how is that? Oh, I don't know. And what's all that? That's keep moving forward. Get over it. Move on. You know. And I think when people instill that into their life and really bolt that into their learnings and their, you know, moving forward, they start to see things differently. That it can be better. You've got to keep moving forward. The clock stops for no one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how could you not keep moving forward?
So the keep moving forward mindset is about looking forward and being positive. Do you think there is any space for us to actually look in the rearview mirror and think about our past? Or is it always just keep moving forward? How do you approach that?
Absolutely. You know, looking back to see how far you've come is great.
Yeah, great.
And there's nothing wrong with reminiscing, you know, oh, back in at school we done this, remember the teacher done that, he said this, she said, remember that girl we did, all this sort of fun. But there's no use sitting back there, because it's gone. It's done. That's why you have memories, right? You pull out the photos and you go, oh yeah, today it's, you know, you flick your photos or whatever you do, right? But yeah, I believe you just got to keep going. You just got to keep pushing forward, keep going. Learnings, take them with you. If you need to go back and re-experience that in your memory, that's okay. But you can't go back there physically. Or you go to the home that you used to live at. Oh, they're torn it down. Of course they have. Let's move forward, right? You don't want to live in that 1980s home because you got new things. So what are we doing? We're moving forward again. So, you know, it continues that way.
And Harry, in terms of making good decisions, and life is just a sum of all the decisions we make along the way and the choices we make along the way, how important is it for you that you're present when you're making some of the big choices in life?
Oh, you know, George, you have to be there. You can't afford to be somewhere else, or always talk about the other thing, which is, you know, who are you? Is this the real me? Am I putting on this act for this show today? And then when I walk out the door and I go down, jump in my car, become somebody else? That's being present. I'm being present 24/7. What you see is what you get. You need to be part of it all the time. You can't just make these decisions on the fly or change your tact as you go. You know, it's who you are. You know, yeah, that's very important.
Harry, the organisation that you've got now is Life Worldwide. Can you tell us a little bit about the programs, the mentoring? I've seen some clips of it on the website and it looks fantastic. Tell us a little bit more about Life Worldwide and what you're there to do.
No, thank you. Well, Life Worldwide, life leadership is for everyone. That was the acronym. That's why it's called Life Worldwide. And I thought, well, we'll make it worldwide. Why do we have to stay in Australia? We can, you know. Yeah. The program, and to tell you, I did that because I feel for the leaders that can't be leaders. I feel for that kid that sits in the corner quiet. I feel for that person that you know is a gun operator, but you've got to, he or she, get them out of their shell. And that came as a result of my security business. You know, we just had under 5,000 people working there, and all different nationalities and races and everything. And some of the most amazing human beings were there, but they needed leadership, they needed mentorship, right? So Life Worldwide, that's how I funny enough, I was probably doing it for a very long time and I didn't realise I was doing it. The program's the Young Guns. So we created a Young Guns program to bring the young kids in, get them motivated, get them excited, get them financial literacy, you know, goals, achievements, give them don't-do lists. You don't have to do drugs. You don't have to be part of this. You can be the opposite. So those sort of programs, they're one-on-ones, business, deep dives in businesses, the walk and talk, which is very popular. So let's just, the old saying, let's go for a walk, And that is so deep. And for me, I shared this story with you 2 days ago. I'm running around the river, and this kid that I see him all the time, reached out to me about 7 months ago in dire straits, had problems with his partner and etc. And he was in a dark place, very dark place. And it warmed my heart I see him every day, but he did the Rocky, he's running like this. He goes, she's back. She's back. Thank you. Because I said, just keep moving forward every day. Go for a run, clear your head, get positive, no matter what. Maybe she'll never come back, right? But these are the walks and talks. These are the programs. These are the deep dives to tell you not what you want to hear, but what needs to be told. To go into a business and deep dive and tell you that these are wrong. Everything from high-powered CEOs playing very naughty, doing things that they shouldn't be doing, in marital issues and whatever. Someone's got to have the guts to go in there and take these people on. It's not an easy job to tell somebody, listen, that's not what you do. And you don't judge. You're suggesting, you're telling, you're doing, you're correcting, and it's a fight. It's a battle because they're doing it for a reason. Something's unbalanced, and you help them get the balance. So.
What do you do when you're working with someone who is not prepared to see it? So I know in the line of work that we do, we coach and mentor people, and sometimes you're talking to someone who's just not prepared to face into what everybody else can see. How do you deal with that?
I come from different angles, so I'll go over, under, around, in the middle, soft spots. It could be the kids, it could be their pets, it could be their mother, it could be the most simplest thing, and I call them trigger points. So once you trigger something that gets their attention, it sparks that little fire. The job there is for me to keep pouring the fuel on that fire, and then make them see that it can be done. That you should say sorry. You shouldn't do that. You don't have to behave like them. You don't have to trend this way. You don't have to do this thing. And eventually they start to accept it.
Yeah. And the vision around Life Worldwide, what is it beyond 2020 would have, no doubt, it would have changed your business. I know it's changed ours and so many.
Yeah.
What is it into 2021? What are the plans for Life Worldwide?
Look, 2021, again, the plan is to continue the journey with the clients that I have and others and the individuals. And we do lunch and learns, where we bring people in. There's no free lunch, you come and learn, to continually grow that and give so much back to our community, because we're coming out of the most difficult period of ever. I don't think we'll ever see this in a lifetime again, other than that Great Depression, the War, the Spanish, all the disasters, world wars that, thank God, we haven't experienced. But I want to give so much back in 2021 to make, incredible human beings,
And Harry, the sense of community that you build around the people that know you, and it has this multiplying effect that a bit like Rita did not know you before I introduced her to you.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
That social media is just so powerful and for positivity.
Yes.
When you are sitting down one-on-one and you're talking to an individual, what is the consistent advice that you provide people at the moment? Like you said, it's probably one of the most difficult times that we're faced with. What's the consistent advice that you provide people to make sure that they can get out of the fog and see straight down the highway?
Yeah. One thing that I'd always start with is be an incredible human being. No matter what. No matter what. You don't have to be miserable. You don't have to blame politics and religion and the virus and all that. Be an incredible human being. Get up in the morning, do something, be active, set your goals, set your affirmations, get the balance right. Because as I said earlier, somewhere along the journey, the reason people go up and down like a roller coaster, it's unbalanced. There is an underlying problem somewhere, whether it's your health, your finances, mental state, whatever the case may be, you can find a way. You should find a way. And you can find a way. You have to dig deep. And you've got to go for a little bit of pain to get there. No pain, no gain, right? The old saying. But they're the consistent messages. And don't blame race, colour, religion, or, but they done this, you done that, he said this. Just leave that for a second. Focus on you.
So if we extend that in terms of the advice you provide, I know, because we've both spoken about this, the importance of mentors to be able to develop yourself.
Yes.
And get out of the comfort zone. Can you share with us your approach to mentoring, but more importantly, the kind of mentors that have helped you along the way?
Yeah. Well, the mentors for me, one of the greatest, and he's a personal friend of mine, which is Robin Sharma. And, you know, I've been blessed to be around those types of people that, you know, are dealing with the top of the best of the best. And you learn what not to do and also what to do. And, you know, success leaves clues. These people keep you accountable, and that's my mentorship. That's how I would like to think that my people that I mentor consider me as, and I call it APR, absolute personal responsibility. I'm your accountability partner. I'm the person that's going to tell you, you didn't do that, you didn't run, you didn't jump, you ate that, you said this, you took this, you didn't do that. So that's the style. It's not sit down and fill out this questionnaire and, you know, I get that part. There is an element of that, and, you know, the psych testing and all this. I don't think I'll ever pass one. I don't think I could ever do one, right? But the one, people struggle with this more today than ever because we hide, we're on our phones, we're keyboard warriors. It's funny, I'll tell you this, George, and Rita, I argued with somebody last week who rung and said, you are 100% correct. This person made a comment about something. It was racist. He said, I'm not a racist. I said, you are a racist. Because you wouldn't have said that if you weren't. You sat at home on your own, comfortable, nobody around, and you just went bang. 6 days later, he rang and he said, yeah, I did believe in that. I said, that's up to you. That's your opinion. Again, mentorship, right? Because he's one of my clients. I said, change your thinking. Just change your thinking. Don't, you know, tough days, tough times. Someone's got to have that conversation.
And what do you, actually I'll probably reverse the question. If there are individuals out there seeking mentors, what are the kinds of questions they need to ask themselves to make sure that they get the right fit? Because it is all about the right fit.
Absolutely.
You can't have chalk and cheese.
No.
But it's okay to be different, though. I think
Absolutely.
Being able to have that diversity of advice and just being able to get people to push them in the right way,
yes,
to get them thinking. So what if people are out there looking for mentors, and obviously there's life worldwide, what are some of the questions they should ask themselves that they know that, you know what, that's probably the perfect thing for me?
Yeah. Well, one of the things, of course, you can't be everything to everyone, right? So that's important for both the mentor who wants to be mentor, you know, etc. We both have to understand that, you know, we can't be everything to everyone. You got to ask yourself, what is it that you're missing? Where are you unbalanced? Where are the problems? What is the issue? What do you need? What do you need accountability for? Because in the end, that's what it comes down to. It's the accountability piece. Is it a simple reminder on your phone that you forget to press? You need me to tell you to press it. You need me to tell you to use your manners, to not trash talk, to not do this, to not do that. What are the things that you're missing? So look at the gaps and see who can fill in those gaps. Who's the best person to, you know, it's like going to the doctor. Who's going to diagnose you best to give you what?
And do you think there's a place for multiple mentors in one's life?
I think so. I think so. And funny enough, people think mentor, I've got to ring him or her or this company. It's in front of you. We've got it at our tip of our fingers. Just YouTube it. YouTube the topic that's annoying you. Find it, do it, listen to these people, him or her or this company, that company. Again, success leaves clues. They're everywhere. And people fail to, I don't know that book. Yes, you do. Google it. I don't know that guy. Yes, you do. You listen to him. You listen to her. You found that thing. So it's everywhere.
Harry, just prior to our chat, we had Dr. Raman Archery. He's from Singapore, and he contracted polio when he was 6 months, so he pretty much couldn't walk ever. So, and he was called all these bad names growing up. And when we spoke to him about mentors, he said to me, my mentors were the books that I read. So that was his way of dealing with, I guess, the struggles that he faced. And I think you're absolutely right, that they're the best invisible mentors that we can have. And you don't need permission from anyone to immerse yourself in a book or a YouTube video.
Absolutely.
So where do you seek your inspiration from, Harry? I mean, you don't miss a beat with your messages. They are consistent.
Thank you.
Where do you seek your inspiration?
George, my wife will tell you, because when I was at home now, my wife just left for work, and she said, I told her what I was doing and all this, and because she had the question, so she's doing the thing, and I said, what are you questioning me now? She said, but you're always like this. And I think, George, it's the upbringing, it's the not having, it's the giving, it's, you know, all the things that I talk about. I just dig deep every day. Every day I just need to push forward. I need to keep going. And it inspires me seeing other people happy, You know, the cleaner at my apartments, you know, the kid never spoke a word. I said, come here, what's your name? Bang, 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 bang. Today, hey, Mr. Harry, come here, I've done this thing. I'm done that, I'm playing cricket, I'm going to do this. That inspires me. To see people actually doing the things they're going to do, and it inspires me. But every day I look for it, George. I see it, I find it.
Is that the same kid that was on a post probably about 6 months ago?
Correct. That's
in
him.
the foyer area?
That's him.
Okay.
That's him.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah, I'm glad you've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pushpinder. Beautiful boy, you know. But here's a kid that's left India, no different to our parents. He's come here, I saw him as one of them. And I'm thinking, you're not just mopping. I said, you are meeting all these people, do all these things. And I had said to him once, I said, if you can't speak, learn English. Put the English in your ears. You know, less of them, more of us. Let's say this to our guards and our managers. Less of the community. You put Greeks together with Greeks, they're going to speak Greek. It's just going to happen. Hang around the barber shop long enough, you get a haircut, right? It's a fact of life. But if you put a Greek with an Aussie, they're going to speak Australian. They're going to learn more. They're going to do more, right? And that's what I kept saying to this kid. Everybody that comes out here, you say hello. That could be your next boss. That could be your next big opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Harry. Thank you. So don't call me Mr. Harry. You just do that job. But be the best cleaner. Yeah. You know, because you're getting paid to be here. You're not doing us a favour. You're not anything less. We're paying you to do this job. Yeah. Let's not forget that either, right? So let's not get funny about it.
Yeah. And Harry, your friendship with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, yes.
How did that come about? And what are some of the lessons that you've learnt from the great man?
Yeah. Well, Arnold, as you know, I mean, for our era, if you like, Arnold's Arnold, right? He's our childhood hero and etc. To answer your question, how it come about, Tony Doherty, who's a dear friend of mine from Doherty's Gym. I know Tony went since, you know, he moved here for 26 years ago from Bendigo. Come to see me when I had my security company and said, listen, I've got Arnold coming out, blah, 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 I need you to do all the security. Well, fast forward to 12 months later, that was 2014. I sold my business. So then I rang to us, what have you done? I said, I sold it, but don't worry, we'll look after it. And we went from he needs protection to actually becoming business partners. And I've had a relationship with Arnold for, you know, going on 6 years now. Yeah. And I travelled all around Australia, Africa and Asia with him. And we've done some amazing things together. And he's an incredible human, very switched on. He lives in the now. You know, we've learned a lot of things. I couldn't tell you there's only one. There's just, you know, an example would be if I turned up here late, or if you were late for this interview, he would walk in on the interview, you know, he'd be like, let's go. You're not wasting my time, because then I'll be wasting everybody else's time. Yeah. Let's go, you know. So there are many, many lessons, but he's an incredible person to listen to and be around, and he's very infectious in how he operates.
So you mentioned Robin Sharma.
Yes.
The author of The Monk That Sold His Ferrari.
The Monk Who Sold the Ferrari.
Which is a brilliant book.
Yes.
You got Arnold. So there's just two examples there. What is it about those individuals and their mindset that makes them in the top 0.01% of humans?
Well, Arnold, giving his backstory, you know, coming, again, migrant, saw the light, come to America and did what they said couldn't be done. So for me, that was just an incredible inspiration there. Robin Sharma, just his methodology around being incredible, giving back, doing the good things to get to where you need to go. You know, so for me, that just resonated. I met Robin in 2013. I flew to Canada. Funniest story in the world, you know. A friend of mine gave me the book. I didn't know what it was. Monk Who Sold the Ferrari. What's this? Forget about it. And Vic Rhodes, I think I told you the story. I'm waiting for Vic Rhodes, and you know, you put it on hold, and I thought I better rip this open. I looked at it, and then I could have put the book down. I flick. Vic Rhodes, I had to authorise for, you know, for the receptionist to do the thing, whatever, you know, whereas Jenny take the call. Then I Facebooked him, and he had this event. It said T48T, Transformation 48 Hours in Toronto. This is a Monday or Tuesday. I'm at home, on the iPad, and I said to my wife, I'm going to Toronto, you watch this. She goes, you're an idiot, you do all these dumb things. I said, yeah, no worries. So I went on, sold out. I thought, I can't get on there. But straight away, the administrator sends me a message, but we've got one at the VIP. I think one was $2,500 US, the other one was $5,500 US. And I'm thinking, they're scamming me here or what? But you know what? You're on the dance floor, you got to dance. So I put the card in, I went bang, off we went. And then in the morning, I remember ringing the flight centre that night. Emma, should we be watching this? I said, go to Canada tomorrow. She goes, what are you talking about? I go, I've got to be there Friday, so I've got to leave Thursday. She goes, you're mad. I go, I'm going. So fast forward the story, I went there. And I don't get starstruck because I've been blessed to be around some of the biggest rock bands in the world. I've done some amazing things in my security life. So for me, it's business with them. But we're at a buffet getting some food with Robin after he's doing this massive event, just to fast forward the story. And there he is, he's right next to me. He's only a little guy, Robin, do you know that? And then he's there and he says,
looks taller in the book.
He does look taller, very smart. Photography, right? It's like me, I've got hair in books, but no. There he is, and he just said, he says, tell me one thing you do that's crazy, you know. And I said, well, I went to New York for a 15-minute meeting. So I just told him real quickly what I did. And then he's got all these people from all around the world. I'm talking about heavy hitters in this room. And he starts, we're back, you know, we're talking. And I thought, oh, that was nice to talk to him, you know. And he said, oh, look, a good friend of mine's going to get up here and tell a story. You know, and we're all there waiting, including me. And he goes, Harry, my good friend Harry. I'm thinking, me? Story for what? What I just told him about me going to New York. So I got up and told this story, and then blah, blah, blah. From there, we just created this friendship. And
Right.
yeah, it's really cool. But it's a bigger story.
Harry, what I love about that story and what comes through is not taking no for an answer. And I think the theme through the 3 days has been, and even some messages that we were kind enough to receive before this event, you know, it's you dream big and you execute.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's about not taking no. And there will be, and usually it's those that are closest around us, you know, that'll go, no, I don't think so. Like, you're sure you want to, you know, and they're almost, if you've got that inner fire and passion, you almost want to go, no, absolutely, I'm not going to take no for an
100%.
answer, and go, even when it might be a crazy idea.
Yes.
And I might be a little bit guilty of that.
Good.
But Harry, in life, you know, undoubtedly it's going to throw us some curveballs. When life has thrown you some curveballs, how have you maintained your energy? How have you got back up and gotten back on the road?
Again, for me, the harder it gets, I think the stronger I get. So for me, there's just no giving up. It's not going to happen. And I said this when we won the Melbourne Airport contract. We run to the fight, not from the fight. You know, it is what it is. You've got to deal with it. You can't hide from it. You can't curl up in a ball and say it's going to go away. It's not going away. That problem is there and needs to be dealt with. Different people, different ways, and different problems, different things. Even when you're on your deathbed, you've been diagnosed with this problem. It's not going away. It is what it is. So for me, I've been able just to, I don't know why, and funny, again, that was the question my wife said to me. You just keep going forward. I just believe show up no matter what. You know, cop the punishment, cop what needs to happen, and deal with it. Stop, assess it, move forward. You know, you can't just sit there in misery. Misery becomes negative, negative becomes failure, right? So, not going to happen, no matter what. It is what it is, you know. I'll give you an example. One of the hardest things for me, and I remember then it affected me, it was like when my father passed away. You know, I had to go there, and he had a heart attack. I was to do the CPR thing and trying to get him back. He died, right? So, that wasn't hard. The guy died. I don't know, that's life, right? What was hard is going to have to tell my mother in the next room that's got half a head, one tooth, one arm, one leg, it's got brain tumours, that your husband's dead, you know, but it's got to be done. Nobody else want to do it. You know, my brother's, I'm not telling her. Well, what do you mean? We've got to tell her. You know, so what do you do? It is what it is. So, yeah.
Have you ever had a moment where, you know, commonly referred, you know, Doona days, a day where you just want to pull the Doona over and not wake up? Have you ever had a moment where you really go to ground?
Oh, look, I don't think go to ground, no. You know, that sounds like I'm acting tough and all this, but no. I've had tough days, of course. Every day is a tough day, you know. But I always say every day is a good day. Some are better than others, right? So what's tough about it? Look, what did you lose? What did you gain? What happened? You know, I think I've got to look at it and has it been that hard? Yeah, look, I've probably had a bit of failure in the way I dealt with my family, if you like. I put my business before my family. So there was a time where I had to think, you know, there were shots fired, if you like, right? And my family said, my wife, you know, said, listen, you're married to your security company, you're not married to us. And there was almost a separation there. There was almost this angst of me. I remember going to a big concert and I'm working and I'm thinking, what if I come home to this empty home that I don't want? But I'm doing all this for them. So which part am I getting wrong? So automatically that made me not curl up, but made me reassess things, you know, so.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that positive nature, I think for people that are listening out there that think, how can I get that positivity back? Because sometimes people can be in such low places. And what I'm hearing from your story, it's to keep moving forward. It's one step at a time. And I always say to people too, don't look at it as a big mountain. Just literally, how far can I go today?
Absolutely.
And ultimately, you will get to the top of the mountain. But it is just to keep moving forward one step at a time.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Is there anything that you've learned about yourself, particularly through 2020? It's been a big transformative year for so many. Anything you've learned about yourself that's really changed your outlook or the future for you?
One thing that, without a doubt, that's reconfirmed for me and it allowed me to learn more about it was that you need to be ready. You can't afford not to be ready. You need to not only be able to see around corners, you need to have people watching those corners. And we used to have a saying in our security business, who's watching the watchman? So I'm watching you, you're watching me, you're watching that, so to get the job done, right? And it reconfirmed for me that tomorrow's not guaranteed. This pandemic just went bang, everything shut down. It wasn't just the restaurant closed, everything grounded. And if you weren't mentally ready for that type of behaviour, that taught me that what I'm preaching, what I'm telling my clients, what I say to my family, my friends, is that you have to be ready every day. You need to be on the ready. You just never know. And I think that reconfirmed it. 2020 reconfirmed that for everything. Money in the bank was the fuel. You need fuel to survive, right? Your health. And it made me sick watching TV commercials with bet on this, bet on that, and the bottle shops are open, all that. That taught me that everything that I say is true and correct. That is disgusting. That is putting people in a very bad place. That is why our suicide rate went up. That is why we've got all these problems in society. Everything we talk about, everything we see, it rose up, didn't it? It came up to the surface that there are these problems. It's true. But this is what we've got to do to combat all this.
And Harry, what advice do you provide your kids and extended family, nieces, nephews?
Yes.
So what kind of advice have you provided them during this time?
Again, just be the best version of yourself. It's not about, be miserable about the politics and everybody was bashing Dan done this, Dan done that. Don't worry about Dan done, worry about what you're doing. Worry about your backyard. Worry about how you're going to get better. Are you shut down for 3 months? You're not working. Your job is one of those that have closed down. Okay, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to educate yourself? Self-taught, learn, do, walk. I can only go for an hour with a mask. Wear a mask, go for the walk. Don't stop was the key message. I think people doing those online parties, like DJ and my daughter, my friend lives in America. And one day I remember coming home, it was like a nightclub in there. And she's laughing and having a laugh. And I said, right, that's done. But you can't do this every day. She goes, oh, Dad, every day's a good day. Every day's a good day. Some are better than others. But that's not what it's about. What are you celebrating? What is is it a celebration? Are you drinking to remember, drinking to forget? Are you drowning your sorrows? Or what's this? Where are you going with all this? Oh no, we're just having fun. Fantastic. Have the fun, move on.
Yeah. And during that time as well, again, there were a lot of businesses, like you mentioned earlier, and still going through quite a bit of pain at the moment.
Yes.
And I guess the lesson for all of us is, during this time, what are we willing to let go that may have worked in the past, served us well, but moving forward, we're going to have to say, you know what, that worked back in January 2020, but January 2021, if I keep doing that, I'm going to go backwards. So so to do that, you need to be healthy, first and foremost.
Absolutely.
Aside from the running, is there any habit or ritual that you commit to day in and day out to keep you mentally, physically, spiritually fit?
Yes. So I listen to, yes, the run, but I listen to something amazing every day, whether it's in leadership, whether it's faith, whether it's this, it's that, it doesn't matter. I put good things in my mind. I call it the sanitization. So I sanitize anything that has come in that I shouldn't be worried about or getting involved in, or I'm feeling that it's getting a little bit unbalanced. So I do that every single day. I write down my goals. I have a to-do list, but also have a don't-do list. So, a lot of people don't have those. And I do that religiously. I pray every day. I'm just thankful that I've protected some of the biggest CEOs in Australia's history. And I'm sitting at the table because we're looking after them because there's been a threat, and I will do my cross before I eat. And they said, oh, you're religious. I said, oh, religious? I'm just happy that I've got something to eat. Someone's not eating today, and they're like, oh wow, I didn't look at it that way. So I do all that. And I pass that on into my family. It's exactly the same thing.
And it's the old, it's not what you say, it's what you do that the kids and anyone around you picks
100%.
up from
100%.
as well.
Yes.
We had one of our guest speakers, I believe it was on Thursday, may have been Friday, Rita.
Who was it? No,
Mark Lebusque. So, Friday. Mark Lebusque, he actually lives in West Brunswick. He's an author, And part of his book is how to be a better human.
Brilliant.
And one of the hacks that he's got in there that he encourages people to complete is do your to-do list, and when you finish your to-do list, then complete your to-be list. What do you want to be?
Yeah, brilliant.
So Harry, what do you want to be moving forward? What's the path for Harry from here?
Yeah, it was coming, George. Unbelievable. Look, I want to be continually for me, be the better version of myself, you know, and continually give and achieve those giving things that I talk about. You know, I want to be the best version of that. You know, who do I want to be? That's who I want to be. I want to be the most happiest, positive person that everybody that comes and leaves me says, geez, that was infectious. You know, thank you for infecting me with that positivity. Thank you for, you know, I want to be that person. I want to continue being that person. Yeah.
Harry, this has been an amazing conversation. We've really, really enjoyed it. And I would highly recommend a conversation like this isn't only for parents, but I think it's also for young kids who are being faced with a lot of there's a lot of stimulus and stuff happening in the world, social media. So for the young kids out there that are probably feeling like they're losing their way, what do you recommend for those kids in particular that feel like there's nothing or no one around me in regards to positivity?
Yeah, and your statement, George, is true and correct. They live in, and you know what we do? We pick on them. And I seen a little picture on Instagram, I think it was on Instagram, where somebody put it up and I thought it was fantastic. And I wasn't going to do it, but I did. I shared it we're at family groups, so I shared it. I thought, oh, well, I'll share this picture. And we did the same. We all read the paper on the train, didn't we? You've seen that picture? Where everyone's reading the newspaper and no one's talking to each other. And then we're blaming the kids because they're on their phones. Well, we did the same. And they live in that world. You know, we lived in that world. They live in this world. And I'd encourage these kids to look outside you don't need to do those photos. You don't need that haircut. You don't need to behave that way. You don't have to do the silly things to get noticed. Start doing the different things to get noticed. Listen to something positive every day. If we taught our kids, George went to school, Brunswick High, if they said to us, money's important for these reasons. This. It's not about money. Well, money's freedom. Well, you need freedom. How are you going to eat? Where are you going to buy that thing? How are you going to buy your girlfriend a flower? How are you going to eat at that restaurant? How are you going to buy the car? How are you going to buy a train ticket? How are you going to get to that place? Right? If we teach our kids the importance of all these steps, faith, being a good person, what does a good person look like? This thing, you don't have to let the beauty industry talk to you. But, you know, I always say, get to your kids or to the, you know, it's male and female today. Let's not kid ourselves. Talk to them before the beauty industry talks to them. So we need to encourage our kids to look outside the normal, what they think is normal. There is so many other things, you know. Go on walks at nature, go for nature walks, eating with your parents, eating at the table, respectfully, sit at the table. My family laugh. If their kids were here, they'll be laughing. So, everything goes off, TV, everything. That's the boardroom. Let's have that conversation. Let's break bread. Mum cooked. We love our wife cooked. My wife cooked. And beautiful food, right? We have that conversation. How was your day? What have you been doing? That's gone. That's finished. I'll never forget sitting with the then police commissioner, Christine Nixon. She said to me once, it was an intimate lunch. We sponsored this big event called the Blue Ribbon. It was just like that. She goes, what's wrong with our society? I said, they've lost respect. That's it. And they all stopped. They have. We see a policeman, you put your head down. Now, they're doing whatever they like. Oh, I came from a war-torn country. This thing happened to me. You come from a war-torn country. Treat our country with respect. Yeah. The greatest thing here, the kids see it. I say to my kids, what's the best thing about coming back home from a holiday? Oh, this. Now they'll tell you. You open a tap, pour the water, have a glass of water. Simple. But how, you know, they've got to just, my advice to all the kids, look at things differently. And they should encourage themselves to try to help somebody else. When they help somebody else, you know, in a crisis, George, I've been, again, lucky enough to travel the world, London, whatever, emergency management, looking at crises, high-risk situations. I've been in very high-risk situations, very high risk. And we all, and it's a fact, when there's something major happening, you know, you've got turbulence on a plane, you're all over the place, everybody leans over and says, you're all right, you know, because You get comfort in making you feel good. You'll see these bombs going off that I've seen footage, and you'll see people jumping on people. Because in order for these people to feel safe, they feel like they've got to go help you to feel safe, right? If our kids can reach out to another kid that's having a problem, it fixes them as well. And what it does, it starts to create leadership. It becomes infectious. It's a disease of positivity that spreads through.
And we need more of that at the moment.
100% we need it. 100%.
Now, Harry, we've got two final questions that we've asked every single...
Mouth guard in or no?
Mouth guard in.
Mouth guard in, all right,
yep,
ready.
Yep. Body pads as well.
Oh, no,
Okay.
Jesus.
No, it's not that hard.
Okay.
If you're on a video call with your 18-year-old self,
Wow.
what life advice would you provide young Harry?
That guy.
That guy.
Wow. Well, funny enough, George, at 18, just turning 19, I had a kid, my daughter. Right? So what advice would I give that bloke? I think I look back and I wouldn't change it for the world, but the advice I would give it is be prepared for the journey. Be prepared for the journey, champ.
Yeah.
You know, because that's what it's going to be, you know.
And the final one is actually a game of word association. So I'm going to share a word with you,
Oh,
and you share with me the first word that comes into your mind.
okay. So do I cheat and look or no? Okay.
You can have a look if you want.
No,
please,
no, no.
But it's not going to be as fun for us anyway. Travel,
All the time. Love it.
family,
Best.
love,
Love it.
adversity,
Push through. Kill it.
performance.
Keep going. High level.
2021.
Achievements. Goals. Kill.
Harry, you're an absolute champion. Thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you.
And
Thank
just
you.
before we do finish up, if individuals, anyone wants to find out about Life Worldwide, where do they go?
Oh, Facebook, Instagram. They're the quickest. They're the easiest. Yes. But before we go,
Yes.
congratulations for everything you've done for our community, for our people. Because Impactology is just not, when you presented it to me, George, and Rita, I met you on that, it was just, I thought immediately, what an amazing name, what a concept. And you should be very proud of everything you guys have achieved, because it's not easy, but you've taken the time to create something incredible. And you know, I wish you all the very best.
No, thank you so
Thanks so
much.
much,
And
Harry.
really for us, it's the last 3 days and getting 30 plus speakers from around the world. It wasn't
well.
for us, Rita and I. It was for everyone else.
Yes.
Hence why we've made it available for everyone.
It's brilliant.
So we got to make inspiration free for everyone. And you know, if anyone has listened to your presentation today and it's made all that difference, then job done.
Oh, absolutely.
So take care, brother. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for
Thank you.
joining us, and we'll
you for
definitely
having me.
keep in touch
Absolutely.
in terms of, through Impactology Live. And
100%. Absolutely.
and yeah, thank you so
more.
much.
Thanks,
Thank
Harry.
you. Thank you, Rita. Fantastic.
We are nearly quarter to the hour, so in about 15 minutes we're going to have Jeremy Androulis joining us from Singapore. So take a breather, take a walk, and we'll see you in 15 minutes.